Welcome to the Head Over Heels podcast, dedicated to helping you build the business and life of your dreams. We'll be sharing tips on management, leadership, strategy, marketing and mindset, and much more. Let's get started with your host, Angela Cedran.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Heads Over Heels. Today we have Kay Davidson as our guest. Kay is a fashion designer, and she's also gone into the world of uniforms and broken down barriers on being severe and serious at work to make you feel gorgeous at work in your uniform. Today we're going to talk about the secret to looking and feeling like $1 million no matter what your body type. Welcome, Kay.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you're in Guernsey.
I am. I'm on this tiny little island in the English Channel, surrounded by the sea, gorgeous scenery. I mean, it is such a delight to live here.
Yes, from what I've heard, it's beautiful. And it has a bit of French influence as well, doesn't it?
Yes, very strong French influence. In fact, all the road names, street names, and everything, they're all still in French. And the very old language here is an old form of French. Not that that's spoken much anymore, but it's if I was sending you my address, you would be going, oh, please spell that, because it is all French.
So you have the best of both worlds, really.
Yes, really. Actually, we are closer to France than we are to England. We are part of the British Isles, but there's flights. I mean, we think about it as like when you get on a flight, we just call it catching the bus. So we just catch the bus to the UK. So we're really super connected with the UK, but we definitely live a little island life, island pace. You know, everything is just so slowed down and very, very lovely.
Sounds lovely. Yeah, I think I should visit. So, Kay, I'm very excited to be talking to you today. You've got an amazing background as a stylist, as a fashion designer. You've also got that little bit of science behind what you do, because when I was reading your bio, you were talking about not only understanding the style and the design, but also the fabrics and how they fall and bringing that all together. And your journey's also taken you into designing uniforms. I mean, you've created some incredible uniforms over the years.
I have. I've been super, super fortunate in my career. So I didn't plan it. It certainly wasn't, I didn't go to my school education department and say, my further education, what am I going to do? I'm going to go off and become a designer of corporate business wear or uniforms, who does that, But I sort of was like, well, I want to study art because that's the only thing I was really interested in. But I had a strong influence. I loved to make clothes and things. So I went off and trained as a fashion designer and spent my first 5 years working in ladies' fashion, designing collections. And then by chance, I got a phone call, and literally it was like, hey, you're a Scottish designer. This Scottish company is going private. You need to come up with some ideas for what they should wear. And I'm like, okay, so I'm Scottish and they're Scottish. That was the only synergy between the two. And I went and put a pitch in for the project, not having worked with uniforms before, and ended up winning it. So it was just an amazing sort of experience, and I just loved the interaction between the people. So what it was missing in my fashion world was that I was designing collections that were then selected by buyers, and then merchandisers would merchandise them. So the collections I was putting together, and then people would wear them, and they were worn in very different ways to how I had envisaged them and saw them on my design board and created all the samples and put it together. And so when it came to the uniform side of things, I thought, I've really got a chance to make an impact here. I can really change the way that people see themselves, and they don't get lost not knowing what to wear, because it's all, controlled sounds like the wrong word, but it's all made simple for them. And then so that one project led to an invitation to do another project. 6 months later, I ended up winning that one. And at that point, I sort of thought, right, okay, I really want to take this further. I didn't know a lot of menswear at that time. I went and studied some menswear, working for a menswear company, and then it was phenomenal. I literally have traveled over the world, clients in loads of different countries, sourced all over the world, projects are so large, some of them I commissioned my own fabrics. So the technology that I learned and studied, textile science, garment engineering, all of those things, from sourcing the factories, making the fabric, to the factories making the clothes. So it's been quite a ride.
Imagine. So tell me, one thing that's always fascinated me with uniforms is, how do you create one look for all those different body shapes?
Okay, so this is when we get back down to the really simple things, which is what I'm trying to teach now. It's all about those lines on the body. So if there are certain garments that are easier to wear on all of us. It doesn't matter our age or our body size or body shape. Mm-hmm. It's just about where these lines fall. So the collections that I would put together would give different, everything would have soft lines, so nothing would be harsh lines. And then you're kind of picking, like, when they talk about the golden mean in art.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the same thing on our body. We've got these golden mean zones. We've got those sweet spots. And when the lines all line up, or you at least use some of them on the body, that is when it becomes really easy. So that was the learning. That was, from studying literally thousands of body shapes. That's all the knowledge that I got to pull together. And I learned, this works, that works better than others. And that was the way around it. And then also choosing fabulous fabrics. So many of my clients in the uniform business would just burst into like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have never worn clothes that are this good before. And that was the beauty of being able to do it en masse and not fashion, because you're using really great fabrics that would stand the test of time, that people would launder and wear for years and still look good. So they were experiencing better quality fabrics that they probably hadn't done before. And that is key as well. Fit, flatter, and drape through fabrics.
Yeah. That's actually really interesting, because I think if I have to reflect on my wardrobe, the fabrics and the way they fall and the textures, they're just so different, and they can feel so luscious as well. I think you were talking about your cashmere socks. When you've got something almost yummy like that, you just want to wear it as well.
Yeah, and so we will go on and we'll be talking about style DNA, and that's very much us as well. So some of us are attracted to soft, fluffy type things, and luxury things, and that is all part of what makes us feel great inside. And so you need to make sure you have got something like that in your wardrobe. And even if it's just that you pull on a soft, fluffy scarf, or it doesn't. Or maybe you're a floral person, or maybe you're a more edgy kind of techie person. Like, oh, that doesn't appeal to me at all, but they want to wear more denims or hard tailoring fabrics. So we've all got these different nuances in us, and also it can change it can change on a not daily basis, but there's some days or seasons you want to feel one way, and sometimes you want to feel another way. So it's recognizing what those clothes say to you, and then using them to your advantage.
That's true. I mean, I will generally go and buy a few new things at the beginning of every season, but it almost helps me recreate my look. Yes. And it makes me, I must say, when you wear beautiful things and they don't necessarily have to be expensive things. I mean, you can look terrific in a garment from Zara. It doesn't have to be designer. But when you're wearing something that really aligns with what you call your style DNA, it makes you feel like $1 million. And one of the things I find with women in particular is so many of them lack confidence. Yeah. But it starts with how you feel on the inside, and a lot of that is actually what you look like on the outside, in terms of the way you dress and your style, and the way you do your hair. So I'd love to talk to you today about how our viewers can really align their style more with with their DNA of what they want to look like and what they should feel like when they're in their clothes.
Yeah, so it is about learning to trust that instinct, and it is about stepping back from the noise of what I call marketing, because marketing has sold us for decades. We've got to buy more, we've got to have more, we've got to have this bag, this is the it bag this season, or the best buy or the must have, and all the time they're actually just trying to reel you in and get you to make more purchases. And so they're and so this is what I call is this is the unsustainable, because sustainability is very much a passion of mine as well, and also why I want people to become more aligned with their style, because when you actually need a lot less to feel good, because you're buying the right things. You're not just doing this constant treadmill of consuming in the hope that it will make you feel good. In fact, I actually say that you're buying hope in a hanger, the way that marketing sells to you. They're selling you hope on a hanger. You hope that you'll like it. You hope that sometimes it's really personal. You actually buy something to make yourself feel good. And marketing is churning this at us all the time. But then quite often you buy it in the shop, you get that initial high, that kind of like, oh, the dopamine sort of like, oh, rush. And maybe the first time you wear it, but then a few months later you go, oof, why did I buy that? What was I thinking that day? And that is because we're not taking the time to be aligned with our own style. So the first thing that people need to do is step back from the machine, and it's like that you must have this, and actually pay attention to what it is that they genuinely love themselves. And I go right back into it's all about your teenage years, when you really started to develop and to express yourself. What was it that you wore back then that made you feel fantastic? So take away all the kind of like the complexities of life, whether it's motherhood or career or all of these other things that happen to us and push us up through the years, and go right back to when you were actually young and free to make all those choices yourself, and you were starting to experiment. And what kind of childhood were you? So for example, I was a complete tomboy. I spent my life climbing trees and catching insects and chasing animals around the farm. You wouldn't catch me in a skirt. Anytime it was a party, my mother would try to put me into a dress to go and dress me up to go to the party, and I'd just be like, I don't want to go to a party. And it wasn't because I didn't want to go to the party, it was because I didn't want to wear the dress. That is where it really starts, when you're making your own identity in the world, and you wear the things that you love to wear in childhood, and from there life happens and we start to change. But for me now, I would never be. I still don't feel comfortable in a foofy, fruffy dress. I'm a techie, sporty. I like to run. I like to be active. So all the clothes that I wear, I could run and catch a bus in them. if you put me in something that's like billowing and floaty, well, that's not me. I will wear it, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good on the inside. Go right back to that experimental time. And maybe you didn't really experiment until you were in your early 20s, and that's kind of when you found the time that you thought, I felt great when I was wearing this dress. Some of my clients, it's their wedding day. That's the time because they planned that. They took the time, they tried on, 50 wedding dresses, and then they found the one that made them feel extra special. So go back to that wedding dress. Why? Break it down. Why did that wedding dress feel so great? What was it? Oh my God, it had this amazing neckline, just like cut across here, and it was just so soft on my shoulder. And I'm like, so why your t-shirts not got that neckline? Why did your dresses that you're wearing today not have that neckline? No, I didn't think about that. So that's where you need to go first. Remember the times before all the noise of marketing and everything else. When did you feel fantastic? So for me, climbing trees and running around. And for others, it can be a wedding dress or a ball they went to, or the prom, whatever it is that was really significant.
I was just thinking to my wedding dress. So I understand exactly what you mean now, actually, that you say that, because you do try on a few things and you go, oh no, this is just, apart from the fact that you don't necessarily like the look of it, you would say, this is not me.
Yeah. Yes. So it's open. You can almost go through that whole exercise again where you're with your wardrobe, but it's stopping and taking the time, and that's what we don't do. As life goes on, we expect that we should know what suits us and what doesn't. We don't take the time to actually evaluate it. And that's when you go and book an expensive private consultation, have a stylist come to your home. That's what they'll do with you. They'll edit your wardrobe piece by piece and strip it back to what really works with you. But you can do this on your own. You don't need to have, you just have to trust, yourself and what you're saying, but do that little bit of backward research as well into okay, so this is what I really like. I really like bright colors, or maybe maybe a lot of clients also remember their favorite textures from sort of like childhood, and that comfort factor, whether it's corduroy or velvet, or again some softness in somewhere. So it's all these emotions that we have inside that we tend to forget. We tend to forget why we're buying clothes, and clothes really are an intrinsic part of who we are. They are our outward expression to the world.
Yes, they are. I can't remember who it was. I watched a TED talk. It was a guy, but he basically, his art was the way he dressed every day. And I mean, he looked like he was in these ball gowns with amazing hats and things, and it was incredible. But the whole premise of what he was saying was that it's his way of expressing himself and his art form as well. And I'd never thought about the way you dress being like that before.
Yeah.
But you're also right that we have so much influence from magazines and the media and the styles. You know, this season's color is mustard or orange or something. It doesn't suit me. So, you know, I don't really care what this season's colors are, but we do have that pressure. And I think sometimes we lose trust in ourselves that we know what works for us, because we think,
yes,
this is what the industry is saying we have to do. Or, you know, I mean, it comes down to something as ridiculous as, well, this season big breasts are in. You know, it's stupid. You can't change things like that. So you've got to go with what works for you.
Honestly, marketing just has a field day, and it's hooked us in so much with you know, as I say, you know, I googled, you know, best buys, and it produces hundreds of millions of results of best buys. Well, there you go. How can there possibly be hundreds of millions of best buys if there truly only is one best buy? You know, so it is just this churn constantly that we see out there, and we just need to just step back from that and actually listen to what it is ourselves. Another kind of simple parallel that I draw between what we you know, choosing what to wear, and is also when you're choosing what to eat. And you know, I was saying as well that there are no rights and wrongs. So everybody has style, and it's how you, the wearer, feels in it that is actually right. So you know, you have the fruit bowl sitting there. Well, you know, two people might say, well, today I want, you know, there's apples, bananas, pears, plums, whatever, apricots, peaches in the bowl. Which piece of fruit actually appeals to you? The whole bowl looks attractive, but what is it that you're drawn to? What is it that you want to eat? You know, you're not going to eat an apple if actually you want the banana. So, but why, you know, but with clothes, we get confused because there's so much more noise tells us, oh, you've got to have mustard this season, or you know, yeah. And it's just turn that volume down and turn your own voice up and listen to what's inside.
Yeah, I think the other thing a lot of women battle with, obviously, is their size. And you feel that if you're not a size, whatever, size tiny, then clothes are just not going to look good on you as well. Yeah. And then there's almost a sense of giving up. Well, I'm just going to wear black, and I'm going to wear big shirts that cover everything, and pants.
Yeah, which is just, again, that's what marketing has sold to us, which is just so sad, because, you know, everybody is beautiful and there isn't a right size to have style either. There isn't a right budget for style. It's not about being able to afford amazing clothes, and it's, you know, and it's not about a certain size. It's about dressing to your body each and every time. So another one of my tips for your listeners is to really, we spend so much time and energy covering up what we don't like about our body, and that immediately sends a negative message into the brain. So, you know, we go to the mirror in the morning and our first thought is, oh, good, you can't see my tummy in this.
Yes.
No. So what we need to do is we need to find, and I say start with three things about your body that you love now, not when you lose weight, not when you get the new job, not next week, now, today. What three things do you love about your body? And it can be you know, absolutely anything. And, you know, for example, people always say, okay, it's easy for you, you know, because you're a size 10. But actually, everybody has got hang-ups about their body. Nobody is naturally body confident. Well, not that we live in the Western world, unfortunately, because we've been, we've had so much thrown at us all of our days. But so for me, my number one favorite is my feet. And it sounds crazy, but I've always had this thing about my feet because I thought they were different to everybody else's. I've got a very pointy toe, and I just think, they're different, they're cute, and I like them. So I love my feet, I love my shoulders, and I love my ears. So I won't even walk the dog without a pair of earrings in. I'm that I just have to have earrings in. I feel naked without an earring because I want the attention to be here. I'm not a particular fan of my face. I feel I'm quite androgynous. I know it sounds crazy, but we've all got our hang-ups.
Yeah, we do.
I've got a strong nose. Yeah, quite. But earrings, attention goes here.
As long as they look everywhere except here in this bit, you just draw the attention away to the sides.
But it's the same thing with our clothes. So if we dress our positives, and again, turn that volume down, turn that negative little chatterbox in your brain down, telling you about the things that you don't like about yourself, you can reverse that conversation. So yes, the little chatterbox, the little inner critic will come across your brain waves and say, you probably need to, cut down those glasses of wine, Kay. Look at that tummy that's showing over that or showing out that dress. But then I can say, hey, but don't my shoulders look good in this? And, so check before I go. Ears, shoulders, feet, and and that's it. And the more positives you put in, the quieter those negatives become. And there's lots of tricks as well that you can use to, you can't change the proportions of your body, but clothes, stopping and starting in the right places or adding the right accessories can create illusions of lines in different places.
Yeah, I must say that's something I've learned as well. I'm shorter, so clearly I would never qualify as a supermodel. Plus, I'm not skinny. And funny enough, I looked at a picture of myself the other day when I was 16, and I thought I was huge when I was 16. And I look at pictures of myself now and go, you were normal. There was nothing wrong with you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And as we age as well, I think we get harder on ourselves. And there's that kind of sweet spot, that kind of tipping point as well, where we just say, oh, just accept it. But, I work with girls as young as 20, and, they're complaining about this part of their body or that part of their body. I just want to shake them. It's like, really? It's like, you have not promised me you will start loving your body today, because it just gets harder and harder. Yeah. So, it is about breaking that cycle. And it's hard. It's not easy, but it is just about repetition and self-care. It's not, and it is just when you hear that, when you look in the mirror, you're not looking to conceal what you don't like. Your focus is solely on enhancing what you do love about your body. It could be your collarbones, it could be your neck, it could be your wrists. There could be any part of you that you choose, but start focusing on that as something every day when you're getting dressed.
I've noticed you've got some great accessories. I love the ring that you're wearing.
Oh, this one, my moonstone ring, is this one?
It's beautiful. Well, all of them, clearly you like your accessories as well.
Yes, and because accessories are part of building the outfit as well, because essentially I'm not wearing anything that amazing. It's a white shirt, a camisole, and a pair of off-white jeans. But then you put the accessories together and it makes the look more finished. And I think we often, when we feel we want to be more or change our wardrobe, or maybe we've got an interview, or maybe we've got a presentation coming up, or a birthday or something to celebrate, and you think, right, I've got to go shopping for something, more clothes. We gravitate towards the clothing, but what we really need to do is think about the accessories, because they again become the focal points of the outfit, and that's what links it and ties it all together. So another perfect example, I am a horse rider. I've got, an ex-date of mine said, you've got very big hands, and I'm like, oh, this is like, oh, okay. Strong hands, I prefer to call them. I have very strong hands. And my mother even used to say to me, she's like, oh, I pity the man who ever has to buy you a wedding ring. How much that's going to cost him. So I know I have, but rings and keeping my nails well totally detracts the fact, I hope, but to me, you know, I don't now see the fact that I've got, you know, I do have chunky hands, there is no question, but I don't see that because I just spend the time to always make sure I pull on my favorite rings, and try to look after my nails, so the nails become the focal point, or the accessory. So it's all these little things. But
I wouldn't have said you had chunky hands. I mean, I've got, you know, even this finger here is like a size 60 or something, and that's my ring finger. So I've got particularly big hands. But oddly enough, I've always gravitated. I always have my nails done, and I always have some sort of a ring on. And I've bought some really fabulous, like real statement rings over the years too. So I guess I know exactly what you mean, but actually, when you do something for them, even if you don't originally like them, you end up going, actually, I'm quite happy with that part of my body now because I've got a formula around it.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. It is just reprogramming. It's reprogramming what your focus is. And you know, the rings in the hand thing. Now, if I jump in the car to go somewhere and my hands hit the steering wheel and my rings are on the kitchen windowsill, I'm like, reverse, car back in the drive, run to the kitchen fast, grab the rings. Okay, I'm ready to go now. You know, it just becomes, again, like the ears, it feels naked if I don't have at least one ring on. I say, if I don't have this one on, I've got to have that one on.
Actually, you make me laugh. My mother's exactly the same with her earrings. I think I could bury her stark naked, but she will have to wear a pair of earrings. That's like, without that, she can't cope. So she wears them. Yeah.
So I don't know, I couldn't do my interview without having comfortable feet, but I'm at home, so I do barefoot around the house. So I was like, I kind of want to put my feet when I'm having my chat. And it's like, cashmere socks.
Delicious. Cashmere's got such a beautiful feel.
That's how it makes you feel. But because also, you know, we're treating this subject very light and very fun-heartedly because it should be fashion, and what we wear, it should be fun. It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be something you just like, oh no, I've got nothing to wear, that dreaded thing. But actually, you know, there is science that backs up the importance of what we wear. So there's two pieces of amazing research. One of them was a study group in Finland where they asked ladies to come to the studio and have the photograph taken, but to have a completely neutral expression. So they had to bring their favorite outfit to wear, and then they had to also bring just, you know, clothes that they would, you know, that they weren't particularly fond of, you know, gardening clothes, paint, you know, just ordinary average clothes, but also their favorite outfit. So they were told to keep a neutral expression in all the photographs. So they were all taken, and then they were, unknown to the women, they were all cropped to just be the heads, you know, next to each other in their favorite outfit, not in their favorite outfit, and then sent out for testing. And they were all rated for attractiveness, A, B, A, B, A, B. Now, I've looked at them and I was like, you really can't particularly see which face is you know, because obviously they're cropped here, which one they're wearing, which outfit, which or the other. But the results came back resoundingly that every single image of the different women, I think there was maybe 20 women in the study, where they were wearing their favorite outfit, they were rated more highly for attractiveness than when they were wearing the clothes they didn't feel. So it proves that even though you cannot see the clothes, that inner feeling of that, oh my gosh, I feel great today, comes from the inside and is outwardly projected to you. And that's what they termed, or what I call, your style halo, because you know when you've got it right. You know when you pull on something and you feel fantastic. Your posture improves, you do stand taller, and you actually glow and radiate from the inside out. And when you nail it, trust me, when your style halo is on, other people naturally gravitate towards you. You emit positive energy, and the result is that people start coming to you. It's like getting your branding right for your business. When you get your branding right, it just attracts other people. And clients tell me this over and over again. They're like, oh my God, I had a style. Some of them call it style glow because they can't quite remember halo, but you know, I had a style glow moment today. This person approached me from, you know, and it's just, you know, from winning business deals to just, you know, having conversations in rooms that they felt uncomfortable in before. So that's one part. And then the other part is Northwest University did a performance-based study, and I'll just cut through it super fast, but basically it was about wearing a white lab coat. And they gave the participants a white lab coat to wear whilst doing certain tasks. And the study group that wore the the doctor's coat performed way higher, when another group were giving the same coat, but they called it a painter's overall, their results were much less. I mean, there's lots of reading on it, and this is actually called enclosed cognition, and it is absolutely recognized that when you are wearing something that makes you feel better, your performance levels do actually go up.
It's interesting. I wonder if they ever did a study on taking the same jacket, for example, and saying this is Prada, for example, or this is Marks and Spencer, and seeing if people
it would do the same. I guarantee it would do the same. Guarantee. Yeah, it's that perception of that's what brands sell on. You know, that is the emotional pool that the big brands sell on. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I've really enjoyed speaking to you today, and everything you say resonates so much with me, because I know if I leave the house wearing something that I feel good in fact, on Monday, I put on a shirt that, and I've worn it a few times now, and I've gone, I just feel so frumpy in this shirt. You know, I feel like a frump, basically. And it's not a bad shirt looking at it, but it does change the way you feel, and you carry that with you the whole day.
Oh, absolutely, because you will catch your reflection in a piece of glass when you walk past it. And and I've done it. I've put on a shirt that I've thought maybe is just not quite appropriate for what I was doing that day. You know, where you're kind of going to do maybe a more serious pitch in a business, and you get there and you find that they're all in grey suits and they're all really somber, and there's me in my little kind of silk blouse, and it's maybe got a button that you're thinking, oh gosh, this button's just a little bit tight, and then you're self-conscious that and it detracts away from what your whole day is if you don't feel great in what you're wearing. So yeah.
So Kate, tell me, I know that you have a program for women who don't have to necessarily go and find a stylist. They can do it online.
Yes, so this is what I'm doing now. So I want to make my advice, styling advice, really accessible to as many women as possible, rather than the barrier, because it is to have a personal stylist come work with you, it is an expensive thing to have. It is pretty much a luxury item. So what I've tried to do is create this online platform where it's a mixture of written content and lookbooks where you can flick through and read the content, and video delivered content, which I call Ask Kay TV, as in Ask Kay, ask me. But what I do is I go live into the group once a week also and answer questions on, either it can be on subjects that I present each week, or it can be personal questions as well. So they've got a wedding coming up or graduation or whatever it is that's a question, and then all the ladies inside the group actually get to benefit from the Q&A as well. So the Q&A is a very personal service within the group, but also when I do group teachings, the biggest learning is often when you see it work on somebody else, because you see somebody else, you go, oh, that clicks. I'm like that person as well. So yeah. Group learnings actually really, really work. So that's the nice thing about doing it online, is that people see others in the Q&As as well, and how it works with them. So it's really exciting. It's quite new. It's only been out since May, so we are just a small gathering. I had a course before that, but I felt the course we're also time pressured. We all have so little time in our lives, and to sit down and do a course was quite heavy and quite long to actually go and do a 4-week course. So yes, it was just a different level. But this, I want to be like a magazine. It's like grab your coffee or your cup of tea and just go through it and enjoy it. And then it's up to the users if they actually want to go and work beyond that. So it's trying to find that space of being a magazine, but it's more than just sitting watching a YouTube video. And this, hopefully the nice thing is that you can just ping me a question and I'll get back to you on Friday.
That's really cool. How do we join this group?
So if you go to www.askkaystyle.com, there's, yes, all of it is there. And then I've actually got a little, we've been talking a lot about our signature style today. I've actually got a free 30-minute tutorial that you can watch and that will take you, through some of the different exercises, a little worksheet that you can download, and do the exercises on that, and that will really get you set into sort of, thinking about how to get aligned with your style and how to up level things and make your life easier in choosing what to wear. So
absolutely.
that's a great starter. That's a great starter, and it's absolutely free. People can just come in and join that, and sign up to the I do a monthly style letter as well. So you can sign up for that, no cost. And then if you like it, then please come and join our little wonderful group of stylist ladies.
Well, I'm definitely going to be signing up to that. It's something I need as well. And I think that the wonderful thing about a group as well is it can remind you, how can I put this? Groups support each other as well in a way that your family or your people closest to you don't necessarily support you. So I can see how your group would really help women find their style and feel more confident. And you're right about groups, people learning from each other. There is a wisdom in crowds that doesn't necessarily come through in one-to-one.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Initially I was a bit hesitant about doing group coaching, but I've learned that the groups actually learn from each other, as you say, and they support each other too.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are quite happy to be the observer at the back of the room. They don't want to put themselves forward, but they're very happy and very content just observing and learning. And then that's again when the group, they would never book a private consultation because they're too intimidated. They're like, oh my gosh, can't possibly come to my home because oh no, it is quite an invasion of personal space when you go into somebody's bedroom and look through their life, because their wardrobe, let's face it, it's your life often hanging there, the memories and the collections and the pieces that you've picked out. So it's a very personal thing. But then when you do it, as I say, in a group, when you do it online, there's that, you say exactly that collectiveness, and also you can observe and learn and not necessarily participate, or you can be the person in front, which is often the ones at the back become the ones at the front once they've been with me a little while. So it's a lovely space.
It's a converse. I look so forward to joining that. Thank you so much for having joined me today. It's been a fascinating conversation. When I coach, I always deal with the systems and what I call the leadership or the mindset. And to feel confident just puts you in a completely different position. You are ready to pretty much tackle anything that comes along. So, and I certainly feel that way. I know if I'm having a day where I just don't feel good, for whatever reason, it just affects everything. So I love what you're doing. I think it's wonderful. And I think I've already signed up to your 30 minutes, which I haven't watched yet, but I will. But your group sounds wonderful.
Oh, no, thank you so much for having me. It's my delight to chat with you too. So, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. This has been another edition of Heads Over Heels. My guest today has been Kay. Ask Kay is her website. I will add the link at the end of this video. And if you're thinking about updating your style or becoming more aligned with your style DNA and just feeling more confident and looking and feeling fantastic every day, then go and check that out. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.
This episode of Head Over Heels, the podcast for female entrepreneurs, has ended. But be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to help you create the profitable and successful business and life you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.